All right, thank you everybody for coming out. I'd like to report out on our fall 2021 Start Strong results. We just got them back in district and sent home reports to all parents. So I'd just like to provide some summary information and just a little bit more about what the test was and what we're doing with it. So as you know, the Start Strong was given in place of the NJSLA last spring. These were administered at the start of the school year in English language arts, mathematics, and science in select grades. And the purpose of the assessment was to get a handle on what students knew coming in from the previous grade. It was not meant to assess what they're learning right now, but rather provide a snapshot into what they were coming into their current grade and subject with. So when the test was developed, it was a short assessment using previously released New Jersey Student Learning Standards assessment questions. They were all multiple choice, so they were graded very quickly by the computer, and the teachers were able to get results instantaneously, and they were able to see the questions and the answers that individual students picked. This information was made available to our specialists or interventionists, teachers, etc., so they can really cater instruction to what students needed. They were administered in the class period, and the administration went very well. And I would like to thank Susan Clabber's office and the teachers for helping with such a smooth administration. As I mentioned before, as I mentioned before, the Start Strong assessment in each grade covered standards in the previous grade. So as you see in this chart, a fourth grade Start Strong assessment covered grade 3 standards. The science assessments were a little tougher because in grade 6, it covered grades 3 through 5 science. So there were a couple years worth of science that were assessed on those particular assessments, but it was all about the classes. When looking at these results, again, it's all back to prerequisite skills and concepts, and this information was mainly used to drive differentiated instruction opportunities, spiraling. Teachers go back and hit topics over the course of a year to make sure students are on top of things. It was really used for instruction. It was not used so much for placement. These reports aren't being used to make placement decisions for students. It's more of a pulse check on what students are coming into class with. And we don't just use this. It's not good practice to just use one data point when making decisions about instruction. So this complements our other data points that we have available, like our Linkit benchmarks, our local teacher assessments, their own tests and quizzes and projects that they make, attendance, etc. So this is just an example of the report that you should have gotten home if your student sat for a Start Strong assessment. Kind of looks like a speedometer, and it just shows where your student fell. Did they need a lot of support? Did they need a little support? Was it kind of in between? And underneath that, you got a little bit of a breakdown as to the different components that were assessed on each assessment. So I have a bunch of slides to reference at the end, and we'll make this available on the district website that give individual grades, subjects, and school level data. But I thought for the purpose of this presentation, it would be good to highlight a couple key takeaways. So of course, Middletown schools being as great as they are, we outperform the state on the number of students needing strong support. We didn't have as many as other school districts did on average. And we had more students needing less support than other school districts on average across the state. So that was, a really good look for our school district, our teachers, our students, our parents, our whole community. And that was especially the case in ELA and math. And, when we look at across all grade levels, that aggregate, the average of all the different tests put together, our math and ELA show that there aren't as many students who need strong support, and there are more students who need less. And then, there's individual fluctuation here and there too. Like our algebra 2 came out slightly lower, But when we dug a little bit deeper, we realized, we weren't offering honors algebra 2 this year due to our math resequencing, whereas other school districts did. So we saw a little bit of a difference there, but that's just one example. So we look to see like, why might this be the case? And there's always a difference. When we look across all, grade levels and schools and all that, we really want to focus in on where we're placing our resources and our capital. So as we look at our results, we use them to inform our spiraling, who we place in individual buildings, where we allocate our interventionists and coaches, how we spend our grant money, et cetera. And I know this year, in light of our Linkit results from last year, we did make some of those decisions when we brought on co-teachers and class size reduction teachers, things of that sort. So, this is something we definitely keep an eye on at all times. So maybe I can just show one informational slide and the rest will be up on the website. So due to our partnership with Linkit, we were able to get some comparative data with how our school did compared to other similar schools. Maybe you've heard the phrase district factor group. So Linkit gave us some information about how other schools in our state who are similar to us demographically performed on these assessments. And this is just one example slide of how we did an ELA. So if you look vertically, let's maybe take a look at the second column, grade 5 ELA. You see that 65% of students needed less support based on the Start Strong results. Right underneath it, you see in the state, for districts like us, the average was 62%. So we had more students needing less support in ELA grade 5. The red is strong support. So we came out at 14% of our students in grade 5 ELA needing strong support, but on average across the state in similar districts to ours, 18% of students needed strong support. So once again, we were lower on the strong support end and higher on the less support end in many grades and in multiple subjects. So if you want to take a look, I made a bunch of slides like this and also included some school level data. It's all there. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. But once again, I do want to thank the school community. It was a big effort on everyone's behalf to get the kids in and learning and keeping up with everything. And I think our students did a great job.
Sorry, Dr. Kerrigan, where's the presentation? It's on the.
We're going to put on the district website.
Okay. And you mentioned Linkit and the Start Strong. Did the results, you said we made some decisions based on Linkit, right? So we didn't have SLA, right? So were they kind of in line in terms of what we thought? In terms of, we said there was some slippage, but overall light slippage, but individual students obviously are being addressed based on their needs.
Yeah, so right when the test finished, I mean, there was a lag between when the test finished and when we got the reports.
Right.
The reports were mailed to us in mid-December.
Right.
But on the computer, the teachers and the specialists and the whole team were able to go in and go to the individual students' test and see what they chose, what standards they struggle with, and
Right.
which wrong answer they put. And we looked at that in a district data day and made plans at the classroom and school level to address what we were seeing.
Okay.
And we also use that in conjunction with the Linkit data.
Got it. And jive with the Linkit data in
Yep.
terms of where we thought we were.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Thank you very much.